Day of Thursday night football. The Texans take on the Jets. The Texans are 6-2. The Jets are 2-6, and it's Thursday night football. We're doing it big. So let's get it. Let's jump into our theme music real quick. Texans fans, I'm Lance Hayes.
And I'm Jeremy Anajula.
And this is Sports Social Live, where we give you the best content from all across the world for Texans fans. And this is a Texans versus Jets pregame hype show, and we're getting lit up in here. We're ready to represent the H, and I'm ready to watch Thursday night football. What's going on, Jay? They've got the dog in the background going hard.
Yeah, man. You already know what it is. It's game day. I'm ready. I stretched. I've been hydrating for the past couple of days. I'm right here about Hartsfield Jackson, just in case D'Amico need me to hop on Delta and get to New York. You know what I'm saying?
You might have to go fill in for Kendrick Green, Kenyon Green, because Buddy might need you on that O-line against Quinnen Williams. So I'm bucking ready for this game, ready to represent the H, because we're some real fans. I don't think people realize we're real to how real of Texans fans and what we had to deal with back in the day. You want to let them know, dog?
Oh, yeah, man. You know, since 2002, been holding it down for the H, baby. You know
Holding it down.
College, everybody was Cowboys fans and Patriots fans and, you know, any kind of bandwagon you can jump on. You know, we've been holding it down since David Carr.
David Carr, when he was curling up in the backfield. Curling up.
Went through the Osweiler days.
Man.
Goddamn Sage Rosenfeld.
Man. Who, the TJ? Hey, but you got to give TJ Yates his props. I like even the Ryan Fitzpatrick with the Magic. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, my boy Fat Patrick.
Fat Patrick. So, and that's kind of segues into what we're talking about. This Texans versus Jets game. The Jets lead the series versus the Texans 7-3, but we've had some pretty solid wins against the Jets. Thus far, some memorable wins as well. So I'm excited to see us as Texans go into this field and see what we can do. So in this episode, we're going to discuss the trap game a little bit, see how, if it is a trap game or not. I'm going to ask Jeremy that question. We're going to talk about CJ. Can CJ live up to the prime time? Can he live up to his hype? We're going to discuss some of the Texans news, a little bit of Jets news that we've been covering through the week. Then we're going to close it out with the key matchups and what we think is going to happen in this Texans versus Jets Thursday night football game. I'm lit. I'm ready to represent. Throwing up the H. We both got our Texan stuff on. This Texan, this has been through it, dog. This ain't no new Texan stuff. This is one of the ones where you go to the game, you done sweated it out. You done had beer, couple tequila shots.
We some nacho cheese on it.
Nacho cheese. We Texas fans out here, man. We ready to represent tonight. So let's get this pregame hype started. So let's talk about it a little bit, big dog. We gonna roll into it. Talk about it. Is this a trap game for the Texans?
It's definitely a trap game, man. Just the way the schedule was set up. This Thursday night game, then we got against the Jets, which when the season started was supposed to be one of the marquee matchups, but you know, it hasn't turned out to be that. We are a better team than the Jets, but just with the circumstances, all of the injuries on the offensive side, the inconsistency of the offensive line, then it being a Thursday where we didn't really have time to, I think, address those issues. I feel like if this game was on Sunday, we could have Patterson back. We'd probably have Aziz playing and Jimmy Ward playing. But, you know, next man up.
Next man up,
man.
Hey, I like the mentality that D'Amico brings with the next man up, especially on defense. I just think that mentality has to spread a little bit more to the offensive side of the ball. And, I agree with you on every sentiment of this game. It's a trap game logistically, not necessarily due to the talent slightly due to the talent on Texans, but basically the logistics of the game make it difficult for the Texans, as well as the Jets field. Everybody knows that the Jets field is one of the worst in the league as far as injuries are concerned. So it's going to be a challenging game in that factor. But for us to be -1.5 I mean, plus
Minus
two. I
two
mean,
now.
plus yeah, plus 2 now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Them odds makers know something we don't know. So
Mhm.
going into this game, the Texans are the underdog against a 2-6 New York Jets team. So you got it called a trap game. I'm calling it a logistical trap game, and that's how we're gonna
Right.
roll going down the line. As we keep it rolling, let's talk about CJ in this game. CJ under the bright lights. Is CJ Stroud in for a kind of, can he show up here? He's played under the big lights before, but can he
Yeah.
show up on this Thursday night
Yeah,
football
man. I
game?
think CJ liked the spotlight, man.
Right.
You know, I like the confidence that CJ has. He loves himself a lot. CJ love him some him.
Hey,
You know, but you
I
want
love
that in a
me.
quarterback. You
Yeah,
want that kind of swagger. So I feel
yeah,
like with it being prime time, he'll be a little more hyper focused and a little more of a gamer because he's on the grand stage. I mean, you've
yeah.
seen it in the college football playoffs. You've seen it in the two prime time games we've had so far with him. He showed up and showed out.
I agree, dog. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do tonight. I mean, granted, he's down weapons on his side of the ball. Like he's down. We don't have that starting triple header threat from the receiving
Mhm.
core, and our offensive line is struggling. So two of his strengths are kind of limited, but he
Yeah.
has the ability to make the plays. And I think he's gonna be solid this game against the New York Jets
Yeah.
defense.
And it's
People,
nice weather, man. And
yeah,
even before Stephon Diggs was signed to the team, we were already projected to be a playoff team and quite a
right,
contender in the AFC. So I
right.
don't think, we'll obviously miss having that talent, but I think we have enough at that position to where we can really excel if we do the things that we need to do right.
I agree. And I want to give the Texans at least a kudo, right? Some pat
Yeah.
on the back because earlier in the season we had discipline issues against the Vikings, or just way
Mhm.
early in the season. Those discipline issues have subsided and gone
Right.
down to the league average, right? We went from
Right.
10 penalties and craziness down to the 5, 3 and 5 area,
Yeah.
and that's good. So I see the discipline coming along, and this game is one of
Mhm.
those games where you have to stay disciplined and just keep on plugging away. The Texans have to put together a two solid halves of football in all three phases. Of course, that's what everybody's going to say. But for the Texans, they have to make sure they maintain that discipline. And I think CJ is a big piece in maintaining that discipline, and he should be there. I think last week was an uncharacteristically inaccurate game for him early on in the game last week, but he
Mhm.
was pressured the most he has been all season. So that's something to
Yeah,
look out
and
for.
I think it'll be more of a defensive game today, and he won't be asked to do as much on the
Right.
offensive end. Just like you said, man, discipline, mistake-free football. If we don't give them any easy points, I think we could put a couple on them more easier than they can put a couple on us.
Facts. I definitely feel like it's going to be something to watch for in this game. I'm excited for it, man. It's going to be
Yeah,
something to
yeah.
watch for. And he rises up to the occasion. He looks focused when he walked into the game today. So I can
Mhm.
see him rising to the occasion, but not to beat a dead horse. And speaking of rising to the occasion, the Texans linebacking core, who are mostly reserves, will have to
Mhm.
step up a lot this game. Will continue to step up a lot this game. Um, in the Texans defense, uh, the return of Alziz, Alshire, and Ward, they're not returning this game. How do you feel about them not being on the field? And we talked
Yeah.
about it earlier this week, but they're officially ruled out. What are
Yep.
you thinking about that?
For one, it was expected, and I think we're fine right now.
Right,
Devin White is in. He can spell some. We got Toa back.
right.
And Hewitt has been balling out. So I mean, he has that athleticism that we need. He's a veteran. He got it between the ears. So I think we'll be fine from a linebacker standpoint. And with White, we can kind of spell because they do have two solid running backs with Breland and Brees Hall. So I look forward to the Jets to kind of try to establish that run game early and then get those bootlegs with Aaron Rodgers and bring Devontae across the field and use his mass to kind of, seal guys off. We do have to be cognizant of that deep ball though. Like
Yeah.
They're gonna be going with Lazard and Devontae. Aaron gonna be going for the gusto.
He has to. I mean, they're 2-6, and I think people are underestimating the Texans, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, these guys are 2-6, and they're fighting for something. I mean, you would only think that Aaron Rodgers is out there. He's fighting for his kind of legacy, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So to see him kind of struggle is going to be difficult for me because I like Aaron Rodgers. I like his gung ho-ness and what he brings to the team and brings to the NFL. But I don't
Yeah.
think they're far away from being at least somewhat successful. But let's be clear, they have an interim head coach, and it takes more to get on to get on like a swarming defense. You got Will
Mm-hmm.
Anderson just named the AFC Player of the Month, AFC Defensive Player of the Month. You have Hunter with 5.5 sacks. That's going to assist the Ward and
Yep.
Alshire being out. Toa's back on the
Mm-hmm.
field too. Toa got those glasses on. He's ready to
Yeah.
make a move. So I'm excited for what this front seven can do. And
Man, and
question,
make no mistake about it, bro. Our
right?
front four is the driving force of this defense.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
yeah, man, I think they should be able to get a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And I like the
Achilles going
way
to be
that we
working.
rush. We rush
Right.
with so much integrity, and that's why we kind of lack on the sacks, but we get a lot of pressure, right?
Exactly.
They rushing with integrity, and they not making those selfish moves. Like, no knock on JJ. JJ is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But JJ would make a random ass spin move, swim move combo to go around the guard from the defensive end position. And so, he was talented enough to get there. And,
Right.
but these guys aren't doing that. It's straight discipline rushing, pushing the edge, making you rip and go. Like it's textbook defensive line play, and they play it very well. And I think that
Yeah.
pressure can get to Aaron Rodgers a little bit.
I agree. And one thing I like about it that we discussed, and I know we have the Aziz Shire and Ward up here, but with them being out, the interior defensive linemen have stepped up tremendously.
Yep.
Tim Settle Jr., Fadakasi, they are
Yep.
balling. And you see Autry, he was out of shape last week. Hey, hey, when they all
Yep.
get spinning, where do you think this is a random question? Where do you think this Texans front seven ranks in the NFL?
Front seven in the NFL. Got to think. Let me think on it. I do really like the 49ers front seven. I
Right.
like Pittsburgh's front seven.
Yeah, that's hot. They're crazy.
Uh, I would probably slide us in behind Pittsburgh. Well, Pittsburgh would be number one. And I'll slide us in behind San Francisco, or maybe right on par with the Ravens. I like the Ravens front seven. Just
Yeah.
from they got a couple guys who are like really, really athletic on the
Roquan
edge
is
at the linebacker. Yeah, I mean they got the best linebacker in the league right now.
man.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but outside of him, they not.
We're comparable. We're
Yeah,
comparable.
yeah, we're
I,
comparable. So I put us
so
in the top four, top five.
so I agree with you there. Texans are a top 5 front seven
Mhm.
for sure. And
Yeah,
that's with plugging and playing. We are playing like you got to think about it. Hewitt, Hanson have been balling out from the reserve position, and they're doing it
yeah.
on special teams as well. So shout out to the Houston Texans
Mhm.
special teams, which is a top 10 special teams in the league for sure.
Right,
So we're balling out in that aspect as far as the front seven. And I think when going into this game, people are not giving that front seven enough credit, especially going against
Mhm.
the offensive line of the New York Jets, who has had issues down the line. They had issues against the Patriots. So
right,
imagine what this front seven is going to do if all things remain the same and that field doesn't become a boogeyman against the
right.
Texans. So let's keep it trending. Let's keep it going. We have Diggs news out. We're going to keep it short on here. We kind of exacerbated this, but
Yeah.
with Diggs being out, I just want to talk about how you think Bobby's going to cue up this game this week.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna change. I
Right.
think, and I like that it doesn't change. Right.
Right.
I feel like the Texans have built their team with a lot of interchangeable pieces. everybody does multiple things. So Diggs out. With Nico, if Nico was playing, it really wouldn't, Tank Dell would just be able to shine more. But we got the young guys, Mechie and Hutchinson, who's going to step up. But I think for this week, with it being a short week, the tight ends, man,
Yeah.
we replacing an all-pro wide receiver. He might not be that talent this year, but that caliber of player, somebody smart who can get open, and the timing of his catches, he was getting a lot of the first down catches on third down. So I think Dalton Schultz can step into that role to be that safety blanket for CJ, and Tank Dell can be the man. He can show out.
Man, I'm trying to turn off this notification on TV on my screen. But yeah, I think Tank Dell can step up and be the man. I think Bobby's going to have to focus on getting on that second level of the New York Jets, and utilizing the tight ends more. No more gadget plays this week. I know other people are talking about it, but I think we were the first creators to start talking about Bobby Slowick needs to stop. He can't do it this week. You got to give us our credit. We've been on point this entire time. That's all I gotta say. If you listen to us, we rarely miss. We know what we're talking about when it comes to football and these Texans. Sports
Right.
Social Live, one of the best platforms. Watch. We most solid. We're gonna grow the most. But I think that Diggs being out, he stays the same. I only disagree with you is that Bobby just gonna have to. He's going to have to modify himself. That's the biggest thing with me. Bobby's gonna have to call more plays for his personnel. I get that you have a scheme, you have something that you kind of the playbook. We got 8 plays, we run 8 plays. But if you're 8
vote
plays,
to the left, vote to the right.
Vote to the right. But if your 8 plays don't work for Kenyon Green, maybe you go ahead, or 4 plays don't work for Kenyon Green, maybe you only run the other 4 and you get good at those. So Bobby just has to, I think, understand that you have to scheme down or call plays to your strengths, and that's what they're going to do this week. I don't want to see any of the stupid lateral hooks, all that stuff. We don't have it. The field's not in our favor. Get on their heads. Make them linebackers for the Jets work.
And
that's
our
where
formations ain't good for the stuff he's trying to do, man. You want to do double reverses with tight wide receiver splits. You got the defensive end lined up over the wide receiver. He just followed behind you. And then you relying on a tight end to block, to come across and block. I'm like, what's happening here? This not Madden, dude.
And the crazy thing is, exactly. And you see the ends are split out. They get real wide on the Texans often. And I'm seeing like they're trying to force that chip block. Hey, if you're not going to chip block me, I'm going to get this direct angle and I'm going to make your left tackle. And then they have a left guard. They're taking the left guards completely out of the play, which is where Kenyon Green's at. So they know that they're just screwing us over a lot. And Dalton Schultz, for a lack of, cannot block that well. I don't know what's going on with Dalton Schultz, but even his chip blocks have been getting blown up. Cade Stover's had issues in that as well.
I'm a pass catcher, man.
Yeah. Dalton got his neck collar on. My bad. Dalton got his neck collar on. He's out there. Yeah, he hasn't been blocking the best. Like his little chip blocks, I feel like I could push somebody off the ball more than him because they haven't been great. But we're gonna move on to a little bit of the Jets. Let's talk about the Jets. Rodgers is out there sipping on cayenne pepper. He got that from Thomas Morstead, Pearland alum. Let's go, holding down for Pearland. All the Pearland alums stand up. But Thomas Morstead told him to sip on some cayenne pepper and water. So he say he's gonna come out this game and go hard on the Texans. You think that new juice that he's drinking gonna work?
Man, I don't know if it's gonna work, but I do feel like he's gonna be juiced up. Dog might be on something else. He's trying to say it's the cayenne to get in front of it.
Hey, he gonna be on that stuff. He say he gonna come out swinging. But just more to Aaron Rodgers' point, I think Aaron Rodgers has something left in the tank, and this season isn't indicative of his skill. I think they just haven't been able to put it together team-wise. So, will this be a game that Aaron Rodgers pops out? I don't know, but what are your thoughts on this?
I don't think so. And I could be wrong, but I just think the way our style of defense, the way that we can get pressure on the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers hasn't played well. Even the best version of Aaron Rodgers
Right.
didn't play well under pressure,
Right.
right? So and he's not as athletic as he used to be.
At
So we
all.
can get
Yeah.
him off his mark and having to try to create. I know Jalen Petrie on Wilson is a little sketchy, but we run a lot of zone. So that's not like it's not a real thing. And I think if you can put them paws on them, Garrett's a little slim. But I do think Aaron Rodgers is gonna come out a lot focused though, because this is a do or die game for them.
Very much
I
so.
feel like he got the talent. I won't count him out because I mean he's still a first ballot Hall of Fame talent,
For
and
sure.
he might can't do it every week, but he can put that cape on, man, and look like that guy. I mean, you just got to look at the last couple of weeks. They lost because of field goals.
Right. And
So
that's a
like,
good that's a good point. That's a
yeah,
good segue. We're gonna talk about the field goal a little bit. So
yeah.
matter of fact, let's just swing right into it. Hey, they got a kicker competition and issues with the kicker. So people are not talking about it. Fat Greg out there is
Yeah,
missing.
yeah.
He's gonna go on the injury reserve. And they have to figure out their kicking situation. So
Mm-hmm.
if this game comes down to something tight, what do you think that they'll do this week against that kind of issue? So let me break it down a little bit more. The dynamic kick actually puts kickers at a kicking disadvantage because if you try to coffin kick or pin the teams down in the corner, you've seen a lot
Mm-hmm.
of kicks get that penalty. So I think with
Right.
a backup kicker who hasn't kicked all week or all year, and then those field goals towards the end of the game, this is a
Mm-hmm.
positive area for the Texans to take advantage of.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, you basically getting a little more breathing room, on the defense to try things. Like, with a good kicker in the league now, you want to keep them off the 40.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But maybe with the kicking walls they have, you got that extra 5 yards of cushion you can give, and that kick won't be as easy.
Yeah.
So and that'll be that'll kind of show the middle of the interim coach with Ulbrich. I think that might lead to him going for it on fourth down a little more, being a little more aggressive in that sense. So that can open up some opportunities for the Texans to get them off the field with 0 points. And also kind of pin our hair back a little bit, man. Like kind of create some pressure. We don't create a lot of pressure with the blitz. We actually do really well just rushing forward. But I think we don't have to throw different looks at Aaron. Like we can't be predictable defensively because he can. I mean, Devontae is also still a talent. Like we can't sleep on the guys, man.
Man,
Can't sleep
agreed.
on
I
the
think
guys.
agreed. So you got the kicker out there. Miami, we're winning the kicking game. I'll say that
Right.
we're gonna win the kicking game. So if we push them down and get them bent, I think that I'm excited to see that. So the Jets are struggling there. And then I talked about it all week. People are talking about the Jets, but the Jets linebackers are not playing well. And that is an opportunity for Bobby to scheme a quick zone, utilize the tight ends, and get on the Jets' head early and
Mhm.
often. So, what are your thoughts on this Jets defense? Let's see the pros and cons. Let's say that.
Right. So statistically, as a whole, the defense is ranked pretty high. I think they might be like
Right.
the number 4 ranked defense.
Number 4, right.
Yeah, they defensive line got Hassan Reddick back. He's an elite pass rusher, and our offensive
Right.
line ain't great. Like their
Right.
best asset is our worst, is the inverse on our side.
Right.
So that's the only thing I'm really worried about. Like you say, the linebackers aren't great in coverage, so we should be able to kind of eat with the tight ends and kind of kill those seams in the zone. But they got Sauce and Reed. They can play man if they need to. So
Right.
that CJ is going to have to make quick decisions and getting that thing off. But the Jets, I do like their defense. They haven't really played a whole lot of people, but the defense have showed up. I mean, they lost like a 15 or 14 game or something like that.
Yeah. They've
I
lost
mean,
some pretty tight games, man.
yeah,
But they've lost games that they should have won, and it just kind of comes down to basically the team culture. They just can't put it together. You see They lost to the Steelers 37-15, Bills 23-20, Vikings 23-17, Broncos 10-9. That's crazy.
Yeah,
And Jets beat the wait, they beat the Patriots?
they lost to the Patriots last
Yeah, I
week.
don't know why this is coming up like that, but yeah, 25-22 to the Patriots. So yeah, they played some tough games. I think the Texans, for a lack of better words, have what it takes to get them out of there. But the Jets are losing tight games, and I think the
Yeah,
linebackers not playing well is a big portion of them not winning these tight games. So I'm excited to
yeah.
see how Bobby's able to scheme up the offense to get on that second level fast.
Mhm.
And I think that the linebackers are the weakest part of this Jets team for sure.
Right, right.
So
Yeah,
hey,
so yeah, we gotta attack it, man. It's a short week for them too.
it
So
is, and people forget. I think a lot of people are forgetting it's a short week for the Jets as well.
yeah,
So, but the only thing is the logistics. They don't have to go far. They're
they
used to
gotta
the
travel.
field. They
Right,
coming
right.
right out the they coming right out the stadium into the big lights. And the Texans
Mhm.
aren't used to the prime time big lights. And every time we've gotten up to in the big lights, we have not done the best. We're one of those noon game teams. If it's a noon game, hey, we out there.
Now
Once
since
it
we
gets
got CJ, we've done good in our prime time
solid.
games.
Yeah, yeah. I give it that. I give it that. But let's go on. We keep it rolling. I'm gonna make this a little bit better. Look at this. Buddy's trash. The Texas interior online is trash. So the matchup to watch this game, and I'm not gonna change this. Quinnen Williams versus the Texans left guard. And I put Quinnen Williams big because Buddy is huge.
Right.
Buddy huge. And he's going against a weak interior offensive line, but more so a weak Kenyon Green. Buddy just looks sad in this picture right here. So, what are your thoughts on this matchup to watch?
Man, Quinnen is a problem for everybody. He
Right.
hasn't been playing up to his level this year,
He's
but
been banged up. He's been banged
yeah,
up.
this is a layup game. I mean, I don't we
Right.
don't have nobody on our roster that can handle him consistently. I mean, even if we talking about Patterson being healthy or Shaq Mason, like he's a guy, and the only good thing I would say is he's not a guy who can stunt and do a lot of games, so he's kind of a man beater. So
Right.
that would help because he's right in your face. You could just go along for the ride.
Right.
So hopefully with that, we're able to kind of neutralize them with the play calls, different counters, some quick action stuff to kind of keep him off balance and not being able to pin his ears back.
I agree. And he's gonna pin his ears back. Buddy just looked like he one of them big dudes. I know
Mhm.
football and football only. So I can see him putting his hand in the dirt. King Williams versus the interior offensive line will be crazy. But Juice Scruggs has played talented interior defensive linemen like this. So
Yeah,
if Juice Scruggs does not have to focus on making up for Kenyon Green's lack of offensive guard ability, I,
right.
I believe it will be okay, and he can take advantage of Quinnen Williams' attributes, right? Like you
Yeah,
said, it's just how we scheme them. I think Laramie Tunsil and Juice Scruggs have had to focus so much on making up for Kenyon Green's lack of offensive guard ability
yeah,
that they haven't been able to focus on their positions, and that's what's been the weak link to the Houston Texans. But going up in this game, I think this matchup is going to be a good matchup to watch. And let's be clear, Quinnen Williams is going to he's going to make some type of play this game, and
right.
you
You
have to
just can't
be
let
up
him
there.
fall on CJ.
You can't exactly. You
Hold
have to
him.
hold them. Hey, trip them. Hey, and then I'm okay with the offensive line showing me some tenacity. Give him a little nudge. Just show him that
Yeah.
you're there. Get in his head. Come on. Somebody from the offensive line has to get in this dude's head for sure. You're gonna have to
You got to get your fingers under that face mask.
do something, man. And Kenyon Green, if he gets past you one time, grab him by his collar. Push him at show us you got some type of nuts. Nut up, brother. Like
Yeah.
I want to see you compete, Kenyon Green. Like you looking all sad and sorry is not gonna help the case. You already got beat, so you might as well show us that you got some type of tenacity. If
Right.
that's the case, put huffing and puffing Kendrick Green in there, and we can get some work done.
Yeah, they
But
saying Kendrick Green fired up like he really got, like he really
yeah,
liked that, man. If he start the day and and he don't show up, man, we got to send him back to Mike, man.
Hey, I want to see. I'd rather somebody be fired up, want to get in, versus looking sad and sorry.
Yeah,
King Green looks terrible in front of his mom and dad in the stands. That's embarrassing. Like your whole
yeah.
family coming up there to see you get whooped every
You let
week.
Grover and DeForest take your lunch money.
Boy, they took his lunch money and his cornbread. King Green was out there. King Green was out there looking. Well, I remember one play. DeForest Buckner didn't even hit just an elite move. It was just like a regular little rush, and he looked like, damn, I'm
Mm-hmm.
free. And King Green just looking sad, and he did that little fat man to run up and try to get that bet, bro. We don't need none of that. I
We
need
don't
you to
need none
nut
of
up
that.
or get the hell out the game. And D'Amico being a player's coach, I get it. I love it, dude. You're a player's coach, all for the players. But this is one of the business moves, and you gotta protect CJ. So if King Green comes out and sucks it up, man, we're gonna have to do something this week, man.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep on going. That was our matchup to watch right there. Another matchup to watch will be the matchup against injury reports and just the official. We got the official Aziz Al Shire out. You have Jared Patterson going to be out to concussion, Damian Pierce out to groin, and Jimmy Ward out with groin injuries. Boy, we need where's the Deshaun's masseuse when you need them? You know, growing injury, growing
God,
injuries going
please,
all
man,
around.
soft tissue. And I know people, saying, you can't just be quick to fire coaches. And this is literally the product.
Right.
Like, a strength and conditioning coach is supposed to keep your guys from having these type of injuries. ACLs, things like that. You can't really do nothing about ankles, growing,
Right.
hamstring. Yeah, dog. Bicep with all of that, these soft tissue injuries, it's about your pliability. Like
Right.
it's a explosive sport. I would like
Right.
to see what kind of stretching and what type of training they do, man.
Yeah.
Like these are professional athletes. Um, Damian Pierce growing, falling off the bone. Come
Hey,
on, man. He ain't even
I'm
had that
glad
many carries in his career, man.
he hasn't. He's probably been out more than he's played in the NFL. But I'm glad
Right.
you
I mean,
mentioned Damian Pierce. So let's talk about Damian Pierce and what that means to the Texans. Him being out is a difficult out for us.
yeah.
For me, I mean more so in the kick return game than anything because we needed him to provide that spark in the kick return
Yeah,
game.
and I
But
would
how does
rather
it?
have Woods back there with the solid runs. I mean, cool, get us
Yeah,
the yards, but Damian, he got that take it to the crib ability. I do think they
exactly.
might give Steven Sims a chance, this week because he's up on the roster and
Yeah,
on one of the wide receivers. I just want somebody with some wiggle. I do like
right,
Woods. He's solid. He gonna get you the smart yardage. But
right.
I want to feel like that mug could get took to the crib, man. We gonna need
Same.
to spark.
We need a little spark. We need somebody to hit the And
Yeah,
I think I like what Pierce can do, but he's not showing me that he's durable. And for lack of better words, the best, or not lack of better words, but the best ability is availability. So I have to
right.
see something from Damian Pierce this week, man.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Pierce and him not being out there, he didn't even spell Mixon last week enough. So this is Dare's opportunity to get in and get active for the Houston Texans this week. And then
Yeah.
we'll see JJ Taylor. He might be back there catching kicks as well. So Damian Pierce being out, it has more of an impact than I think
Mm-hmm.
is kind of giving credit to the Texans, period. So who's going to
Yeah.
spell Joe Mixon? I'm okay with the solid catching ability of Dare. I'm okay with
Yeah.
how Dare gets in on, they call him third and Dare. But I mean, he just doesn't. He's not the same type of running back as
No.
Damian Pierce out there. So get well, brother. I wish you the best, but come on, man. You gotta, you gotta something. You gotta fight through, man. I'm wishing for a day. I need something from Damian Pierce, man.
Yep.
But we're gonna keep it rolling on, man. Let's talk about Thursday night football. What is the real boogeyman this week? Is it the Jets field?
It's our offensive line, man.
Yeah, that's
It's Halloween, man. They need to put on the costume of the Lions offensive line.
man, they
It's,
don't have no dip. You got to put that dip in and have your John Deere
yeah,
camo
bro.
out. man, because our offensive line is too finesse. They come in scarves and handbags. We need buddies
Yeah,
to come out
man.
there with a wife beater, them 5X basketball shorts and flip flops.
Yep.
That's all type
Yes,
of offensive
sir.
linemen or at least one of them. I thought Kendrick we need to give them black forces. Our
Man, the
offensive line
guards, man. We need our guards and black forces and do-rags tonight.
do rags. And I don't walk in the game. Stop getting your braids done before the game. You need just matty braids come in there just ready to do something and set
Yeah,
it off.
smelling like wood, tip, black and miles. That's what we need.
we need the offensive line to do better, man. And I think that the Thursday night football game will be the turf is going to be a boogeyman for the Thursday night football game. But yeah, that I don't know, man. Maybe Quinnen Williams will be that boogeyman because
Right.
he's going to be breathing down CJ's neck
And
and
Hassan
Kenyon
Riddick.
Green. Oh yeah, and Kendrick Green. I mean Kenyon Green. I bet he's sweating bullets because he's gonna be on primetime TV getting whooped. Last week it was noon. This week it's
Yeah,
prime time,
yeah.
big dog. Everybody gonna know you sorry. So we gonna see what happens on that. But we gonna roll on and kind of close it out here. Let's talk about the betting odds. I see the betting odds have been kind of updated as we roll into the game. Talk about the betting odds, big dog.
Um, I'm taking the Texans. I think we're a better team. So the Jets with the 1.5, I'll pass. Give me the Texans. Then I'm gonna go under, man, on the 42.5 points. I think it's gonna be a defensive game, kind of slow boogie, ball
Yeah.
control type deal.
If you
So
going under this week, because I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take the Texans with the points with a +2. I think it was updated. So I'll take the Texans with
mhm.
the points. I'm gonna go over, big dog. I know it's against what I've been doing, but I feel as if this is gonna be one of them 23 to 20, 24-20 games that we'll
Yeah,
see. The Jets can score when they need to, and it'll be field goal, punt, field goal, touchdown type deal. So
yeah.
I'm gonna take the over here. The Texans are gonna get on the board, and it's gonna be a solid game. I think it'll be more of a solid game than people give it credit for, and it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
think
the
it's gonna
game.
be like a 24-17 kind of game.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah,
It's going to be a methodical game for the Texans because they know they can't really because we don't have the receivers to kind of take off the top
yeah.
of the defense, and they have solid DBs. Mixon
Mhm.
will need to get spelled sometime, so it's going to be one of those games. But if Bobby gets that quick zone running and gets Kendrick Green any type of nuts, hey,
Yeah.
it's
Man,
going to
we'll
be
see. He didn't have all bad plays, man. I'm just
right.
hoping he can stack the good plays and don't have a bad play that kills a drive.
Exactly. And that's what I agree. I agree totally with you, man. They just have to do better
Yeah.
with that. But as
Mhm.
we close out this episode and get ready for the game, we gotta take our pregame ritual coming up here. I'd like to thank everybody who popped in here. Like, subscribe, share, Sports Social Live on YouTube. On X, I'm active. We're active. We're
Yeah.
posting, and we're gonna be posting things daily. So like it, retweet it on X. It's at Sports Social TV on X and IG. I'm Lance Hayes.
And I'm Jeremy Anajula.